I stepped barefoot into my grandfather's kitchen. My 6-inch heels click against the linoleum floor. I pivot a heel in my oversized sneakers and jump onto a wobbly stool. Across from me is my grandfather, fat and charming. He'd spent the morning making biscuits.
He and I were particularly close, and I desperately wanted to be like him.
He grew up in Kentucky somewhere, grew up in Florida, in Houston. He grew up in Georgia. Was a funeral director in a small town and lived above the funeral home where he worked.
In my mind, I painted my grandfather as a chaste Jack Falstaff. A good, intelligent, but gluttonous man.
We found an old picture of my grandfather as a boy in his basement after he died. When we took apart the frame, we found the black and white portrait of a beautiful woman hidden behind it. We'd never seen it before. We'd never seen her before. What did he think?
If you were to make a painting of my grandfather, you would need to paint him sitting in a low armchair. The one that he spent hours upon hours watching old cowboy movies in. He would have his legs propped up, and a swollen hand resting on his tired knee.
With butter.
As ever unchanging as this position was, you would also have him in his eternally warm khaki slacks and a plaid long-sleeve t-shirt, and you'd have to depict him with ever-smiling eyes hidden behind thick, fingerprint-smudged glasses.
When we attended his funeral, the picture recounted how his youth, he was courted by 2 women. He married Rebecca because she made better candy.
Living in a small town, my grandfather did a lot of community service. He volunteered by driving the hearse, naturally. On particularly perilous, accident-prone nights, he would use the hearse as an ambulance.
We buried my grandfather in the graveyard he worked his whole life in, on a street named after him.
You know, it wasn't until after he died that I noticed that he only had one ear. Though I suppose, in depicting my grandfather, that's a very small thing. Much more important to know would be the stories of his magnanimity, of befriending the homeless populations in his small town, of saving his sister-in-law from an abusive husband, of his love for good food and his commitment to his work at the funeral home, how for a good while I took his name.
His gravestone was next to a smaller one. It marked the grave of a 6-day-old baby, who under his breath, in a secret where he thought no one could see him, my uncle whispered with the town gossips about it.
Not that my grandfather didn't have his bad points and bad days. He did. He was pig-headed. He pursued comfort over all else in his later years to the detriment of his health. He eternally bickered over small things with his wife, like the placement of a chair, or how many sticks of butter to put in a recipe.
Seminar 20, page 50.
And yet,
okay, look.
Assuredly a product of his time, if nothing else. My grandfather struggled when my uncle came back from his second attempt at trying to make it through music school. He came back as a converted Buddhist. They fought a lot. Intolerance compounding on spite. I saw him as humanity as its most charismatic, and at its best, self-loving. Banish plump Jack. Banish plump Jack. I wouldn't give to be Jack Falstaff. I'd do anything for his charisma, his storytelling ability. I would have been named Julian if I was a boy. A proof of love from my mother to her father. That didn't happen, though. Buying 2 dozen donuts while running Sunday errands. My grandfather was a product of a family creed that states to never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And in this way, all the men in my life are made up of stories that others have told. From stories of rescuing neighbors to rumors of smothering illegitimate babies in their crib, my grandfather was made of assumptions, of standing in other people's profiles to construct some semblance of self. So while you'll never get to meet my grandfather, I really won't either. And the same goes for me.